depending on, who you are. But shout out to these two because I'm gonna be real with you. Like I said, I consider them both firebrand females that came together, one from the left and one from the right. And shout out because both of them got a pretty big audience, especially Candace Owens.
When every pro-Israel media figure comes out at the same time and basically says, oh, there's no big deal with the Epstein files, they shouldn't be released, you're giving it away. Like, you're giving it away. Like, you guys are too obvious. When you consider the fact that we have depleted 80% of our missile interceptors because we've given military aid to Israel, Ukraine, we're currently using interceptors, in this war against Iran. I'm worried about our national security. Our national security, and I'm not one of these I'm going to scare everybody. I'm not a scaremonger. And I never bought into national security threats or that narrative from the government when it came to manufacturing consent for wars that we got involved in. But right now, when you just look at the facts, our military capability is weakened. We don't have the manufacturing capacity that Iran has, for instance. Like, they build $5,000 drones real quick.
Bro, they built hundreds of these drones within a month, 300 missiles within a month. It's like, bro, our manufacturing capacity for missiles should be at Iran's, but it's far behind them. It's like, that is absolutely insane. That's what I'm saying. We were going to get into a war with Iran. Maybe we should have fixed that problem first, at least. And at least that'd be providing Americans with, hundreds of thousands of jobs. Just to catch up to that type of production, yeah, we need to create hundreds of thousands of jobs in a whole lot of factories. And at least that would help the American people. Now, for the wrong reason, of course, to jump into a war with Iran, yeah, it'd be the wrong reason. But at least we secured that, some form of national security.
We have an entire corrupt system where these defense contractors, first of all, we don't have the industrial base and the manufacturing capacity to build these weapons as quickly as we would need.
Which we should.
Okay. And then on top of that, just because we're spending an arm and a leg on our Pentagon, on our defense budget, doesn't mean that we're getting our money's worth.
No, we're sending it overseas.
We're sending it overseas. And on top of that, we're spending more than we need to on the weaponry that we purchase, the defense capabilities we purchase from these private defense contractors.
No, let's be real though. These weapon companies, they don't make the most efficient weaponry. They don't. Actually, they try to make it as expensive as possible to try to draw out profits. But here's the thing, they're not making us more effective weapons when they should be. And I think this is because of government's involvement in the weapons sector is why they're doing this. Like, as soon as government gets involved, innovation stops. And that's what I'm seeming to notice across the board when it comes to government subsidies and government interference. It be through our government or it just be through a communist system. As soon as the government gets involved in these industries, all innovation just stops. And innovation stops because, trust me, now it becomes more lucrative to not be as innovative. And this is why we need to go. This is why we need to get our hands or get government out of the weapons company, out of all industries. Why? Because it's going to boost innovation again. And they're going to have to actually make things that's more efficient in order to, be profitable or to be the best product for us to buy.
Specs. Yeah, that's exactly. The entire neocon class.
Exactly.
And that's the Meghan McCains of the world who sit up there, have accomplished absolutely nothing in their lives, but just sit up there and go, war, totally. Because my trust fund needs to grow, and have the audacity to lecture us.
I have a funny story about Meghan McCain.
I am amazed that she has the audacity to ever speak, but my daddy, that's her whole position in life. My daddy, she's never done literally anything other than say my daddy.
I've never met a woman in the media space or political space who's less intellectually curious.
Most
than
unimpressive.
Here's the thing though, what kills us about that McCain girl or McCain's daughter is that McCain was so accomplished. Now, of course, we don't agree with all McCain's politics. Obviously not, because he was definitely a war hawk. But let's be real, though. He is a war hero. He was a prisoner of war. The man got respect. As much as you don't respect his politics, you got to respect the man and how he lived his life and honestly, just his overall the history of the man. But with her coming out, having all these stances of pro-war and my dad, it's like, you didn't do half the shit your dad did to have this position. This is why a lot of people are confused. Like, I understand your dad went through all this stuff and he's seen the dangers and he may be a bit, I would say, deluded by it, but you have no reason to be.
So, she used to host a show called Take Part Live.
AKA, I understand why John McCain was such a warmonger because he was in it. I get it. And I get it. He was blinded by that. And I mean, it's still, I still respect his service for doing so. But his daughter is like, you have no reason to be this blinded by it. None at all.
And at this,
but for financial reasons.
Time, she and I knew each other. And so I would fill in when one of the hosts was out. But we interacted. And I remember one time they called me in to be a guest on the panel. And they were going to talk about, this is during the Obama administration, they were going to talk about Obama's expansion of drone use in, the Middle East. And a lot of innocent people were getting killed, a lot of collateral damage. And people were very critical about that. And so she just had to read an article so she would know what the story is as we talk about it on the show. She couldn't be bothered to read the article.
Yeah.
She had no interest at all. I'm like, why are you even in this space? What are you doing?
You could see that even when she was on The View.
Oh, totally.
She just had nothing to add that was intellectual or that looked like she maybe studied. She just comes across like they had a butler who did her homework. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that she reads very few books. There's just something about her, and yet she has this attitude and this sense of this arrogance. Well, my daddy, and has no idea what the general viewpoint is of her father. Like, too, that's also stunning. It's like she thinks like her dad is some like very well liked politician. No, actually, on the right or on the left, was your father very well liked, or is he very respected? And I think people chose this sort of respectful silence. Obviously,
I'll be real, John McCain was highly respected on the right. Now, I know there's some things that he, I'm sure there was some things that he disagreed wholeheartedly with the right on, but nah, he was highly respected on the right and the left. But it was mainly due to his, service, though.
When he passed away, and for me, a moment where I really saw what she was when she used her father's funeral to dunk on Trump. Like,
I don't remember that.
Oh gosh, the speech, yeah. My dad would say that this country was always great because Trump said "Make America Great Again."
That's right. I do remember that now.
And I just thought to myself, what is your life?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you have a real life? If you think that I would waste one sentence, one breath towards an enemy when my father
at the funeral,
it's like are you kidding me? You're trying to dunk a political. It's just, it was to me so crass. And so it's the arrogance that goes with it when we know you've worked for nothing in your life and you have had everything handed to you and you actually don't have any moral principle outside of more war.
Yeah.
And the amount of people who are dying, it's the way these people speak to us, and I'm saying left and right, the way they speak to us when they call us evil, psychopathic.
When we're worried about innocent people getting killed, like that, at the heart of it is that we find it immoral, just like I did on October 7th. I find it immoral when civilians are targeted and killed. So I was not ever one of those people who cheered on what happened on October 7th. Right. Never. I never would. That goes against who I am as a human being. I value human life, and I don't think civilians should be targeted for any reason. Anytime they are, the person doing the targeting, the group doing the targeting is in the wrong, period.
That's it.
So when...
Yeah, it should be a period point blank situation, but people want to add but Hamas and human shields, and it's just like, yeah, but that's still no excuse for you guys to have an 8-to-1 ratio when it comes to civilian and combatants. Like, there's no reason why for every 8 civilians you kill one member of Hamas. That's like ridiculous. And at a certain point, it seems intentional. I'm just going to keep it real.
You now have upward of 75,000 people killed in Gaza, and you mention that to a Israel firster or a Zionist, and they respond to you immediately by saying, what about October 7th? What that communicates to me is you do have a problem with civilian lives being lost on a particular side. But civilian lives mean nothing to you. At first I thought when it comes to the Palestinians, but no. I feel like human life doesn't matter to them at all unless we're...
I mean, we thought it was just the Palestinians until they turned up in Lebanon. That's when you kind of knew, okay, this just ain't about the Palestinians and the Israelis. I mean, no, this is about them taking out that entire region, destabilizing it and taking it for themselves. When they went into Lebanon, there should have been no ifs, ands, or buts about the Israelis' true intentions for the Middle East. And if you don't know by now, I'm sorry, but guys, the fact that they've kind of took their focus off Iran, dragged this into war with Iran, right? Then to take their focus off of that, which they fear-mongered on them being the biggest threat in the region, to take their focus off of them, to focus on Hezbollah and to start a war with Hezbollah, it kind of lets you know where they're really going with this. They want to destabilize the region so they can start taking land. I mean, they've already taken land from Syria. They're already taking land from, of course, the Palestinians. They try to take land from the Egyptian. They try to take land from the Lebanese, but hey, that's how you got Hezbollah. So yeah, when it does come to Israel, it is really hard to hear that whole, oh well, what about us on October 7th? And I'm just like, yeah, but you guys got to understand, y'all kind of brought that upon yourselves. And I hate to say that, but and trust me, the atrocity of October 7th should not be repeated. They were horrible. But you can't sit there and keep throwing this in our face while we're looking at the reason why October 7th was committed, because of your reckless treatment of the Palestinians. And that's not saying what Hamas did was right. That's just saying that, okay, well, we kind of see why they're doing this to you guys, or why they committed to do this action towards you guys, because you've committed this action towards them multiple times before October 7th. Actually, I'm pretty sure they've committed multiple October 7th on the Palestinians before Hamas even did theirs. So this is really what I'm saying here, is that I don't really like to pick a side when it comes to these conflicts. I like to look at both sides and look at both atrocities and try to meet in the middle somewhere. But when it comes to the Israel and Palestine like conflict, or the Israel and Hamas conflict, be honest with you, when you read the history of it, you're just kind of like, yeah, maybe if you'd have treated the Palestinians a little better and give them their own state, you guys would have never faced an October 7th. But since you guys have a whole foreign policy of pretty much making sure they don't have a state, this is what happened. And now we're just supposed to sit here and see these guys as the villains of the world because of what they did to you guys, because of what you did to them. Like, I mean, do we really got to go back to 1948 where you literally took their land and then you put it on the preference of, oh, well, we bought some of it. Yeah, you bought it and kicked people who already lived on it. What do you think that was going to do? Like, that didn't even go well with the Indians. We tried that shit with the Indians and we end up having to give them their own fucking reserves. So what made you think you were going to be able to do that with the Palestinians? Like, come on. Like, throughout time, that just has not worked out.
We're talking about a Jewish Zionist, because if you're a Jewish person like Dave Smith, for instance,
they'll kill you too. They could care less.
But you're not a Zionist. They couldn't care less. You're right. They could not care less, and I just find that so immoral. But they turn around and they try to make us look like we're the immoral ones, because we have a problem and we're speaking out about this.
That's exactly right, and you understand even within the Jewish population. And that's why I've done so much. I've made such an effort over the last year to wake up Jewish Americans to this, right?
Yes.
Because I view them as, you were brainwashed. This is what you think. I mean, this is the whole reason they started the program of birthright. And when the ADL guy got caught, like out of private call saying that, like, we need to kind of come up with something. We're losing Gen Z. We got to do like we did when we established that program for birthright. And this is why Max Blumenthal has done such incredible work, because he went on birthright and he spoke about that experience. They're brainwashing them so young, right? We are all subject to brainwashing. That is the most important thing that I think I have come out of learning, is like, how did I get brainwashed? I thought the same thing. I was watching the Holocaust movies. All of that is a part of your growing up, your brainwashing experience, what you're learning in the classroom, who is the victim, and who do you have to defend, who is being oppressed. And so there's this sort of trigger mechanism.
Here's the thing, though. It's kind of funny because I learned about the Holocaust too, but they never really tied the Holocaust into why Israel, deserves to be a state, or how Israel was created. We never really got that lesson. That's a lesson you didn't really get until you got to college for some reason. But yeah, as I was learning about the Holocaust, bro, it was like, hey, look, 6 million Jews died. It was a terrible thing, one of the greatest atrocities in human history, and of course of World War II. And we shouldn't do it again. We should do everything in our power to make sure that never happens again. That's why we came up with the Geneva Conventions. And it's kind of funny how the people that we came up with the Geneva Conventions for are the people that's breaking almost everything in them. This is why I hate when people bring up World War II and try to relate it to what's going on in, Gaza. And it's kind of like, because of World War II and what happened to you guys is the whole reason we came up with the Geneva Conventions, and we're condemning what the Israelis is doing to the Palestinians because of what happened to them. And it's kind of crazy how they throw all that out the window and it just says, oh, but in World War II, we bombed people relentlessly. In World War II, we didn't care about the Japanese when we bombed them. And I'm like, yeah, bro, that wasn't a good idea, though. Like, just because, let's be real, just because we did it doesn't mean it was a good idea. Just because we committed to World War II doesn't mean that us getting into it was a good idea at the end of the day. But hey, if you listen to these pro-Israeli guys, they'll bring up World War II like that was just the golden era of America.
That is
yes, the reckless killing of millions of people. Yep, golden era, all right.
In all of us. It's buried within us from the time that we're kids, and we don't realize it because we're just taking in so much media. We're listening to our teachers, and then we're like, October 7th happens, and then they go, remember all that stuff? Like this. Now you have to understand what they're going to do next. Think about what happened. You don't want another Holocaust.
It's like priming you to be accepting of something that just goes against your core principles.
And for Jewish Americans too. So you can understand why they reacted the way that they did right away.
Of course.
Oh, guys, make sure to smash that like button, depending if you're watching on Rumble or YouTube, guys. Make sure you smash the like button. Appreciate the support, guys. That's how we get more people in on the conversation and spread the video.
Yeah, they're going to get that 20 times worse. It's going to be your stories about your grandma in your book. Like you go to temple, you go to you go to synagogue, and you're going to have those presets. And then it went too far, and a lot of them snapped out of it. And now I get Jewish people emailing me, being like, "I don't know what this is. I don't know why I'm being told I have to defend Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know why I'm being told
it's wild.
I have to defend Bibi Netanyahu." So
can we just address how brazenly obvious, like, okay, when every pro-Israel media figure comes out at the same time and basically says, "Oh, there's no big deal with the Epstein files; they shouldn't be released," you're giving it away. Like you're giving it away. Like you guys are too obvious.
Yeah.
And what I'm wondering is, was the propaganda always this bad, or is it that we're just a lot more awake now because there's diversified independent media? People are kind of breaking out of their bubble, so it's harder to lie to us. So their like propaganda muscle has atrophied to some extent.
So well said.
Right?
I think it's the latter. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we are more awake than we've ever been. There's independent media. And it's also, like you said earlier, they can't help themselves. So the entire strategy of a Daily Wire to try to destroy me actually woke a lot of people up. It's like, my goodness, Candace was going around Judeo-Christian, doing all the things. She worked at PragerU. You want me to believe that overnight Candace Owens became an anti-Semite?
For
Adolf
real,
Hitler?
though. I know.
She was working with Ben Shapiro and Marisha Straight and Dennis Prager. And they're like, yeah, no, it's crazy how it happened. She fell and bumped her head, and now she's Adolf Hitler. And that it's the whiplash. It's too fast.
Yeah.
People go, okay, you had me. Maybe you had me at Nick Fuentes. There's like people go, okay, he was done early. He's 18. We didn't know who he was. But they just start moving, and then you're going, it's Candace Owens. Oh no, Tucker Carlson bumped his head and became Adolf Hitler.
Right.
It becomes way too, and then you go, okay, let me go back and really see what's happening
Totally,
here.
because I mean, look, Nick Fuentes' rhetoric is nowhere close to Tucker Carlson's rhetoric. Nowhere close to it.
They're all in the same box.
Right? But they're lumped together.
Yeah, but they are lumped together as all anti-Semitic when, let's be real, Tucker has a more unifying message than Nick Fuentes. Like, Tucker is actually trying to get Christians and Muslims to get along. Nick Fuentes, he's trying to further the divide. I thought he was a unifier at first because, he was kicking it with Sneeko. They was talking about unifying and all this good stuff. But as you've seen, I think a recent video came out where Nick Fuentes is pretty much saying F Sneeko. Now I'm against the Muslims. We about to go ham. And trust me, I mean, the Gropers have been going ham against Muslims. It seems like they've only been keeping their mouth shut because Nick Fuentes told them so, which is a very interesting thing. I mean, you got to give it to Nick, though. He does have like a cult following, like a literal cult following. They'll do whatever this man say, believe whatever this man believe, even if it goes against their own interests, or even if they don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. They'll just believe it because Nick Fuentes says it. And that's a scary following that I don't ever want to have.
And to me, this isn't really about hatred toward Jewish people, which I find immoral, just like I would find hatred toward Muslims or hatred toward Christians. Like, hating any group of people simply based on their identity is wrong. I've always been against that. Yeah. But yeah, it just seems like I forgot where I was going with that. Yeah, a lot of people, I think they were just kind of part of this algorithmic bubble where they're only exposed to one thing. And when it came to the Muslim population, I think that the dehumanization was seen in the media across the board. And that brainwashing worked for a really long time. I mean, it definitely convinced Americans to support wars that we shouldn't have supported.
Going back to those presets when we're in our youth, 9/11.
Yep.
It was so raw. It was so scary. The way they made us stand up at 9/11 every day, the time in school, moment of silence for what the Muslims did to us.
Bro, it was the military propaganda at that time, dog. And when 9/11 popped off, maybe if you're like 30 years old, or at least 30 or 35. I think hopefully you remember this. You remember all the Marine and military ads that were coming out at that time? At that time, how you just low-key wanted to be in the army. They was making it look cool. They was making it look, oh, you gonna fight for your country after this terrible terrorist attack. Is like, dog, the push to get people in the military was astounding at that point. And I got it. I respected it. Trust me, even when I was a kid, I wanted to be in the Marines.
About like that's kind of so I was just like Muslims, like this is just how they live. This is what they do.
Or Air Force, at least. It was either one or the two.
And didn't register to me as Islamophobia. I just thought I'm educated. It's a token of your education to understand how despicable Muslims are. I also want to tell you guys about the wellness company because Americans love.
That is facts, bro. It's like the push towards the hatred of Muslims is so crazy. And all it's done is to spark this Christian versus Muslim debate that's been getting out of hand lately. Like everybody who's a Muslim or a Christian is now debating all over TikTok. Is a Trinity valid? Is Muhammad a pedo? Wah. And trust me, even sometimes I get into it. The only reason I get into it is because I just try to separate the division. I'm not even doing this for theology debate. I really don't care if you're Muslim or Christian. All I care is about that, we should be able to look to see come eye to eye and be able to see each other as equal without trying to say, oh, my religion is better than yours, or oh no, I'm more of the truth and you guys are evil. It's like, no, we shouldn't be doing that.